As a person who's now been married for 20 years, here's what I have learned. The person you marry can either make you or they can break you. And here's the thing, there's really no guarantee when it comes to marriage, but there are a few things that you can do to stack the odds in your favor, right? There are plenty of couples out there that go into the marriage expecting to spend years and years together. And life happens. Sometimes things don't pan out that way for various reasons. And that's okay. You can have a passing of one of the spouses, or things just happen. But I've learned that there are a few things that one can do to make the relationship more successful and more prosperous. Okay. And one of those things is making sure that when you are making the choice to marry someone or enter into a marital contract with someone, and it is a contract, we need to understand that, because where marriage comes from is that marriage was actually a contract of wealth preservation, number one, and also of the preservation of family lineage. Okay? It's not all of those fluffy Hollywood romantic Disney stuff. And I think that's one of the things that has gotten people going in the wrong direction when it comes to marriage. Yes, we love the happily ever after, but that is not the truth of what marriage is. Because at its core, it is a basis and the foundation within which you raise a family, yes, and also preserve your lineage and create legacy for your offspring. Okay. So, I've talked a lot about getting to know yourself, practicing your personal and self mastery, um, having a view of who you are as a person, and exercising all of your intelligences, both spiritual and your physical intelligences in terms of your senses, right? So that you can pick up energies around and about other people as well as you observe them, as you learn about them, because not all your learning is going to come from what people show you, and it's also not all of it is going to come from what they tell you. You have to be observant as well in terms of how those people behave, what undercurrents are there in the words that they say, what are you reading between the lines in terms of what they are not saying, and be able to read that, observing how they operate their energies. And hence, one of the first lessons I did was around cultivating those spiritual intelligences, your intuition, those discernments, instinct, your sixth sense, all those things. Okay? Because those are the things that you can use to learn about a person and observe them, not just your eyes, your ears, all your physical senses. All right. So one of the things that I've learned, and in observing myself within my marriage with my husband, and also observing relationships from our peers, is that it's so important that even before you go into a marriage is understand your compatibility with the person. Do you see life the same way? Are you sharing the same values? And one of the things that I like to repeat when people ask me about marriage is, do you even like each other? Because we tend to focus so much on loving each other, right? But sometimes when the going gets tough within the marriage, love can fade, but you still have to have an element of liking each other to say, ah, yeah, even though I don't feel so good about this person, I don't want to see them, I don't even want to speak to them, do I still have a liking towards this person? And that's where number two comes in, friendship. And I've learned that in as much as society says love is the basis of all marriage, I tend to disagree with that. Because there are many couples who fell in love, went into a marriage, and still managed to fall out of love and then end up splitting up. What I've found to be the foundations that really work are more the practical ones, and you'll find this in the older marriages as well, where even people who are in arranged marriages could have very successful, prosperous, and very long marriages based on compatibility and friendship. Okay. And then you must also be with somebody who wants to build you, who's not competing with you, because spousal jealousy is also a real thing. There are spouses out there who compete with their partners and then wonder why their marriages don't last. So it kind of goes hand in hand with compatibility, but it's very important to have a partner who is supportive of your visions and your dreams, and whose own visions and dreams you can support as well without feeling like it's taking away from you. All right. And I think my main concern is that in this age of social media, you are having so many young people aspiring to this beautiful Instagram worthy wedding with all the right pictures, all the right accessories. And then they forget that a wedding is typically 8 hours to 48 hours, if you're pushing it. And if you're having multiple weddings, okay, fine, that can be confined to about, I don't know what, 3 to 5 days, depending on your cultural arrangements and what's required. But after the wedding is over, you have to deal with the marriage. And so if you are going into those things out of pressure, because of competition, because of uh, Instagram and what other people are doing, that's a recipe for disaster, because you are then trying to satisfy external people while you and your partner will be the people that are sitting in that marriage, and working to make it successful and keep it alive. And I think Hollywood did a number on all of us. Disney did a number on all of us, because we try to live up to those images of this happily ever after. And while there are those happy moments in marriage, you need to be very practical in knowing that there will be those tests and trials and tribulations as well. And when you are in those low moments, in the valleys, you need to be able to rely on the foundations of your marriage, which will be that compatibility, the friendship, that alignment in terms of values, having a similar outlook on life, liking each other through those tough moments. Yeah. And also not having to deal with a partner that wants to destroy you instead of building you up. So do your investigations early, do your due diligence. That's not just for work. You have to investigate those things, like I said. Inspect the bloodline. What problems did they have? So that you can make a good decisions that you'll be able to sit with in those tough times. So yeah, choose wisely.